What's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have a 2025 Subaru Forester Sport. That is the sport trim level. It's not the top end limited. It's not the bottom of the barrel either. This has a lot of functional accessories and things in it. The outside and the inside are all new for the 2025 model year. Let's go for a ride. All right, guys, first impressions of the 25 Forester Sport. And the first couple things are obviously the exterior trim, the exterior updates. It's an all new version of the Forester. So everything from the front bumper, the headlight design, the grille design, all the way back to the tail lights, the wheel design, the size of the wheels on this car, all of that stuff has been updated for the 25 model year. All the way through the interior are new door panels, new dashboard. We have the same infotainment system, but we have a lot of updated things and materials on the inside as well. And the vehicle's a little stiffer, a little quieter, a little bit bigger, and it just feels different, and I like the way it feels. Subaru has always made a solid vehicle in my mind, something that was fun to drive, very, predictable. You always kind of knew what you were going to get, and this is no different than that. Let's get to the review. Hey, Yins, before I get going on this review, can you please subscribe to the channel? The more subscribers, the better cars we get, the more fun we can have on this channel. And I am blessed and grateful to have this opportunity to bring you guys car reviews. So just hit that button, subscribe, and tell your friends. Thanks, Yins. All right, guys, standing outside. Forester Sport. And a couple of things you're going to notice right off the bat, at least that I noticed right off the bat. Unbelievably styled wheels, all these accent pieces, the new front end, the arches, the trim level on the bottom, and then the little trim accent up top there really adds to the overall style of this all new Forester. Up front, what do you guys think about that grille, the headlight design, the way they sit back, the fog light design? And it's like a faux fog light area right there. Sunroof up top. The gold wheels, like the bronze wheels. Huge wheels. I think they're 19 or 20-inch wheels. I like the way this car sits, though. It has a nice stance to it. Really clean design. I like this bump here, the wheel well. And then you have the accent there. And it follows it all the way back. You have the symmetrical all-wheel drive logo in the back pillar. Good overall shape. Turn signals in the mirrors. Turn signals around back. We have some little Easter eggs inside there. Then we have the straight back, no bumper again. And then there's not dual exhaust. And I know that's petty, but I like the dual exhaust. I think the dual exhaust balances out the exteriors of cars, especially in SUVs like this. I do like the reflector there in the corner, and I like the Forester in the back tailgate, nicely formed in there. It's got a clean look. I do think the updated exterior looks a little more grown up than the previous one. Let's go inside and take a look. All right, Yins. Inside the new Forester. Get a glimpse of all these materials and the way things look inside. All the way down to the Harman Kardon sound system, which we'll talk about. Wireless charging. Look at the stitching along here. Really clean. Steering wheel is very typical Subaru. It's got the little bronze inset. Regular gear selector, parking brake, cup holders, middle console, car information, and then the back seat is large, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. But looking up here real quick, this is all new. This styling is all new for this year. These materials and the way they are layered is all new for this year. This is new. The Sport and the mats, the Harman Kardon sound system, etc. This is the same as before, and there's nothing wrong with this screen. It all works pretty well. You can get back to home here. You can swipe back and forth there. Your HVAC controls are at the bottom. It can be dual climate or it can be single. We have it right now on driver only. Start stop button over here. Basic controls on the steering wheel, cruise control, the rest of your information, the source, the information tab, and then your various other controls down here as well. Up front, we have a gauge cluster with real gauges, which I like. I like the old school gauges. And then we have the digital display in the middle that shows all the good stuff that you're going to select here. Down there, that's where the trunk is opened and closed. And then we have the hatch on and off. Right now it's on for that the rear foot. That's one of the additions. You can hands-free open the rear trunk. See if we can do it on camera. Automatic windows. These are not automatic. But overall, it's a clean, useful interior. It's a nice place to spend time. Let's take a look at the back. Go into the back door, and we have a good amount of space. We have static seat belts, so the kids can put their seatbelts on quickly and easily. We have cup holders right there. We have the nice two-tone leather. Same patterns on the doors back here. Some charging ports down here for the kiddos. And then this is where my seat would be placed normally. So I can actually get in here, close the door, and look how much room I have sitting behind an almost 6-foot person. Pretty good space. I also wanted to bring up this sunroof. The sunroof is huge. It comes all the way back to the dome light for the second row. So you can see just how big that is. But it does not tilt. It just goes back. Another thing is, you'll see a lot of these everywhere. Little hummingbird. There's another one up front, up in the front there. And I think there's one in the back. Yep. There's one back here. And there's some mountains back there. So little doodads throughout the car. Let's go take a look at the trunk. Real quick before we go back there, I love the little design details they have throughout the Subaru. And I like this kick plate to get into the back. As you can see, my kids already put stuff all over the floor back here. But this is really nice because kids always drag their feet over top of stuff like that. So really useful. Back here. All right, so you're in the back of the Forester. Your hands are full. You have a lot of stuff, right? You can't get into the back. You don't have hands to go underneath like normal. So you come to the left side of the vehicle and you swipe your foot. And that opens the trunk pretty quickly, pretty efficiently actually. And I was able to do it on the first try. I like the Forester mat in here. It's got the nice like desert, mountain topography, if that's what you want to call it. That's the word. Really sweet designs everywhere. We got some power back here. We got some hooks. Got the Harman Kardon sound system back here, which sounds great. And then we have this cargo cover for the back as usual. But you can take it out if you don't want to use it. Now, I don't think you're able to close it. Yeah, see? There it is. You can close it hands-free as well. Camera's underneath. And that's where the button would be to normally open it right there as well. Let's get inside and go for a ride. All right, James, before we get on the road, facts and figures about the 25 Subaru Forester Sport. And I have a couple things here to go over with you that have all the stats and dimensions and everything like that. But 25 Subaru Forester Sport Edition. This is the 2.5 liter horizontally opposed boxer engine, 4-cylinder, no turbo, 180 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque, mated to a Lineartronic CVT transmission, and they're saying 28 miles combined. The CDB real MPG is 28.8. That's what we're getting in the car. That's what we've been getting for about a tank and a half of gas. So almost 30 miles to the gallon. That's not terrible. Some of the new features for the 25 Subaru Forester: new sleek contemporary interior and exterior design, the latest version of EyeSight driver assist, improved dynamic performance and ride quality from a 10% stiffer chassis. Now that actually makes a lot of sense, and that's actually awesome, and it's very noticeable when you're driving around, let me tell you that. Available 11.5-inch, 11.6-inch Subaru Starlink multimedia system, which is what I showed you we have in this dashboard here. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So it's wireless now. Most cars are getting to that. I also want to make a note that this has the 2.4 amp old USB and the 3.0 amp new USB. Both sizes, both USBs here in the Subaru. So whatever cable you have is going to work. It's the debut of the foot-activated hands-free power rear gate. We looked at that. I showed you it, and it actually worked on command while I was doing the video. So awesome for that. Sport and touring upgrades to 19-inch alloy wheels. So those bronze wheels I showed you outside are actually 19s. Really sweet looking on the outside of this car. Emergency stop assist is standard, and it's a quiet, more comfortable interior. And I agree with all of those things. Yes. Let's get out on the road. Oh, the Harman Kardon sound system, 576 watt, 11 speaker sound system. Yes. Yes. And the SI drive system, performance management with intelligent and sport sharp modes. The sport sharp mode is the best mode to drive this vehicle in. It's not turbo, but it feels like it. It has like a little bit of a peak to it. The acceleration is top notch. Let's get on the road and talk about it. All right, guys, out on the road driving around. And the Forester Sport has always been a solid vehicle. I mean, all-wheel drive, 5 passengers, decent cargo space in the back, lifted suspension. What more can you ask for, especially for Western PA or anywhere in the Northeast or Snowbelt region? This is one of those cars that if it was snowing outside and there was an option on whether to take a Subaru Forester or not, I'm taking the Forester. I know what's going to happen. So anyway, the 25 model year, though, is noticeably quieter than the previous models. It's also noticeably better handling. It's got that stiffer chassis, and you can tell as soon as you get into it and you start driving around these windy roads and bumpy roads, it takes the bumps really, really well. The road noise is very muted, even with 19-inch wheels. And the chassis itself is just quieter around bends. The harder you push it, the more you notice it. And the steering is still that Subaru quick steering, which I'm not a huge fan of. I feel like it's a little bit too over-assisted, if you will. You know, when you go into turns really quickly and you turn that wheel and you get a little excited, the car wiggles a little bit because it's just fast. The steering is just very, very assisted in that regard. So I would prefer one that's not as assisted, that has a little bit more, you know, you have to have a little bit more muscle to turn the wheel, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. But to my good and bad list, the first couple things, let's go over the bad real quick, because the bads are very quibble, you know, nitpicky things that I don't know that a lot of other people are going to notice. My wife and I and my kids noticed it while we were driving it around. The first thing, this massive sunroof doesn't tilt or vent. It's just an open and close. You can only open it all the way. You know, you can open at any point and stop it, but it doesn't vent like normal sunroofs do. Probably because it's huge and you wouldn't want to vent a gigantic sunroof like that. But nonetheless, it's like a one-trick pony sunroof. While it is very nice and lets a lot of light into the cabin, I'd like it to vent. I think most people would like it to vent as well. There's no heated steering wheel in this option class for the Sport. I want a heated steering wheel in almost any vehicle I have. And as I say that, my Acura doesn't have a heated steering wheel. But when I'm driving these cars around and they have all these different things in it, Harman Kardon sound system, huge sunroof, all-wheel drive, bronze 19-inch wheels, and it doesn't have heated steering wheel. Also, it's got like cruise control that drives itself on the road, but you don't have a heated steering wheel. Just stuff like that bugs me, and that's why it's on the bad list. And the last thing is an aesthetic thing. It doesn't have dual exhaust pipes. I know it doesn't need dual exhaust pipes. I know it doesn't have a turbo. It doesn't have a V8. It's not something that you would want dual exhaust pipes on, but I just think, especially in Subaru SUVs and SUVs in general, dual exhaust looks better. It just does. It's more symmetrical and it just looks better. Well, let's get to the good list. Good list. Updated looks, quiet interior, and roomy rear seats. That's my good list. It's a pretty simple good list. I'm not going crazy on this review. It's an updated Forester. They did a great job with the updated looks on the outside. The interior has a little bit newer look to it. Still has some of the old functionality, some of the stuff that's predictable that you want in Subaru. I like it. And I think the outside looks grown up. I love the wheel package. I love the size of the wheels. I think it looks updated and it looks grown up, and I think it looks nice. The interior is absolutely quiet. It handles well. It's very flat. All of those things. The interior being quiet is definitely noticeable, and you will notice that as soon as you start driving it, going over bumps and going down roads that you know are loud, you'll notice it right away. It's very, very quiet, and it's a great place to spend some time. And the last thing, the roomy rear seats, the reason I say that is because I have a bunch of kids, and they were all sitting back there the other day, and they were noticing how roomy it was back there, and they were telling me how easy it was to sit back there and get their seatbelts buckled and unbuckled. Excellent job, Subaru. The 2025 Subaru Forester Sport, I give it a thumbs up. Really good redesign, really good interior, really well made, and the Boxer engine is, as always, a top performer. Can't complain there. Thumbs up, Car Dad Bill. Real cars, real people, real life. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.